Avocados are everywhere. Toasts, dips, even ice cream. But have we been super fooled by this superfood? We investigate. Plus, CBD oil.
They come in many different forms. There's oils, balms, chocolates, all kinds of foods.
It claims to help you sleep, but does it really work?
Do we know about the side effects?
We break it down. Coming up next.
Are you ready for season 11? I'm talking about avocado toast and these chips. How about the ice cream? Thousands of photos featuring this trendy food are flooding social media feeds everywhere. We've become avo-obsessed. Avo-obsessed is a super concept, but why is going on? Avocados are being touted as the fat that you need and a diet hero for those on keto or paleo. But how much is too much? Today we investigate. Have we gone overboard with avocados? Our correspondent, Food God, reports on this big trend.
Hey, Dr. Oz, Food God here. I think we have reached peak avocado. It's a trend that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's not just guacamole anymore, it's a religion. People spend over $900,000 a month on our favorite avocado toast, and financial planners actually have to tell their millennial clients, if you want to own a home, stop buying toast. People are so crazy over this stuff that there are 3 guys that were arrested for grand theft avocado. What? And people watch videos of avocados like the squirrel dancing with the avocado. Over 50,000 views. Miley Cyrus even got a tattoo of avocado on her arm. That's nuts. Then there's all these crazy foods. Pudding, cookies, popsicles, beer. Are they even healthy, Dr. Oz? Tell us, please.
So we bring in someone who says just hearing the word avocado makes him roll his eyes. These days, comedian, avocado skeptic Chuck Nice is admitting it.
Yes.
Do you think people overdo it with avocados?
We have gone avocado insane, Dr. Oz. And I gotta tell you, not since kale have we seen such a marketing scheme at work here. I wish my agent were as effective as the people behind avocados. I would be like a household name.
Oh, God. They're hitting it out of the park.
Yeah.
But it does taste good.
It does. Now, listen, here's the thing. I'm gonna be very honest. I used to not like avocados. My wife is an avocado nut. Ooh. Okay? And I just figured, what do I love more? You know, my freedom or, you know, being married? So now I eat avocados. I have to say, I'm a fan, but I'm still a skeptic.
Well, you're not alone with this marital issue, because guess what? We received a video from a concerned viewer who thinks his wife might need an avocado intervention. Take a look.
I'm in the bathroom right now, I'm recording this, because basically, I just needed to vent for a sec. I love my wife, but she just keeps on trying to get me to eat avocados. She's cooking with avocado oil. Has guacamole out while she's cooking the dinner for us to pick on, like we in some restaurant or something like that. At dinner, yeah, it's a salad, but guess what? Avocados. I'm concerned. Every morning she starts off with this avocados movie business, but I'm gonna show y'all what's gonna happen if she doesn't get these avocados right here.
Where my avocados?
What?
Corey, where's my avocados?
Oh, I threw them out.
Why would you do that?
Because I thought they were no good.
Oh my goodness, I just brought those last night.
Dr. Oz, my brother, please help me. Because my wife needs an avocado intervention in the worst way.
Corey and LaToya here. Corey, I am so proud of you, but I feel so badly for you as well.
Yeah.
Because I was watching LaToya watching you. So what do you have to say to Corey?
I love avocados. I just can't get enough of them. I just want them all the time.
You should have married an avocado.
Exactly. You got it.
But Corey, how many avocados does LaToya eat a day?
About four a day.
4?
Wow. I don't know. That seems like a lot of avocados.
Oh, you know what? Why guess when we have a world expert here? We'll be right back with you. But pay attention here. Don't trust him, by the way. He's got cameras all over the place. Let's bring the nutritionist, Dr. Kellyanne Petrucci, to break it down for us.
Hey.
So, as a nutritionist, what do you love about avocados before we get to LaToya's issue of how much you eat?
I love so many things. I'm into the Kool-Aid. I love it. Here's the reasons why. There's so many benefits. Number one, it's got something in there called MUFAs. And these MUFAs, that's the monounsaturated fatty acids. That's the good fats that we're all hearing about. And guess what it does?
What?
Benefit. Smooths out those wrinkles. So if that means anything to you, it's like a beauty food.
So to smooth out LaToya's frowns from seeing that video?
That's why she's smiling. Another thing, fiber. We're not getting enough fiber in our diet. This is a great way to get a good hit of fiber. Why do you want fiber? That bloating that drives us all crazy, it's great to get rid of the bloating. A lot of vitamins in there, tons of vitamins that a lot of us are missing. But here's what I didn't know about avocados that I learned that most people don't know. It actually helps you absorb the nutrients from other foods that you're eating at the same time.
Here's the question in my mind. The USDA says the recommending serving size is this.
Yeah.
It's a quarter of an avocado. Who out there can eat a quarter of an avocado? It's not happening.
Nah.
Right? So how much is the right amount? What do nutritionists say we should be eating?
What the USDA is saying is that one medium-sized avocado is going to give you about 16% of the calories that you need for a day. And I have to tell you a sneaky secret about myself. I've been known to eat 1 or 2 of these guys a day because they make me feel good. I notice the way I feel.
LaToya, what do you think? 2 a day?
I could do that.
Can you
could
drop
do
it
that?
2 a day?
Yes, I can work with
All right.
All right, this trendy avocado snack tradition is popping up everywhere, and I'm seeing it in all kinds of places. So walk us through these.
Okay, so this makes me so excited because for a few reasons. Let's start with the avocado oil. A lot of us have had olive oil till it's coming out of our ears. We need an alternative. This is a great alternative because it has about the same calories, except you can cook it at high temperatures.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a drizzle.
Now
and
let's move into the snacks. So these are the ones that are capturing people's attention. Now, Chuck, I don't know about you, but I want you to check. This is an avocado chip.
This is where I draw the
This is really a chip, guys.
I'm sorry.
Look, listen. It's dry.
Okay,
You see that? They're not wet. They look wet.
This is where the caution comes in. A lot of this stuff isn't real. So if you're saying, you know what, I want an alternative
I like
to a
what
chip.
you're doing there.
Now, see, look what's happening here, and they're leaving me out.
No, keep going.
So-
you keep teaching.
Okay, so here's the I'm always teaching everybody else is eating, and I'm the Italian one. So if someone wants to grab the potato chips, they're going to say, you know what, I want something as an alternative to a chip. What am I going to grab? I'm going to grab the avocado chips.
These are
Here's the
avocado?
Here's the problem. They're
no
not
way.
really.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the best avocado I have ever had in my life.
And little does
right
he know,
here.
little does he know, it ain't avocado. What they do is they fry it in avocado oil. It's actually potato. You're not getting the health benefits.
So this is not healthy.
This is not.
Put that down.
and
Put it down. Step away from the chip.
And here's what I want you to know. The most important thing, 25% more sodium, more salt in this than
not
regular
good.
potato chips.
Oh, man.
So you have to really be a mindful shopper when it comes to a lot of these alternatives.
But what
Think
about this?
back.
This looks like pieces of avocado that were cut up. What do you think about this?
So these are definitely better, but they don't have the taste that most people are looking for. They're looking for an alternative to chips. They want to grab something. So the taste may not be there, but it's actually avocado. So
Chuck,
that's
what are
the
you
difference.
doing?
I am making an avocado chip sandwich, okay?
This is what I worry about.
And
Look at
he's
that.
so rude to do it in front of all of us.
Give it to LaToya over there. She'll enjoy it.
So, you know, there's benefits here, and there's just some areas where you
But
have
the
to
takeaway for me is the oil's a good idea. The mayo makes sense as well. I'm not so sure about these chips.
read the label.
Yeah, I'd rather just have a regular avocado than
Yeah.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
All right,
It's so easy.
Up next, a new avocado may be coming to a grocery store near you. Look carefully. It is being called a super avocado, but it's bigger, better. That is a real avocado, my friends. And I want you to know, how do you pick out the perfect avocado at the store anyways? Don't make mistakes. Stay with us. We're back investigating all things avocado. Have you heard about the super avocado? Most weigh in at a whopping 5.5 pounds and are almost 13 times the size of a normal avocado. Nutritionist Kellyanne Petrucci and Chuck Nice are both back.
Yes.
Talk about this. So Kellyanne, what do we know about these super avocados?
So they started in South Africa. They made their way to Australia, where a small group of farmers, family farmers, they grew hundreds of these things, and they just exploded. Everyone wants to get their hands on them.
Why?
And they haven't made it here yet. I'll tell you there's one.
Who needs this?
Okay, I will tell you the one value. I thought about that. Why do we need these?
Yeah.
You know, batch cooking for families. It's really hard to get it right with avocados. Picking as many avocados as you need at one time. This is a way to get it done. Batch avocado.
It's a big family.
It's a big family.
Okay,
I
so
gotta
it's a
tell
big,
you.
it's an Italian family.
Okay. This is what happens when a regular avocado gets bitten by a radioactive spider.
Would you try this radioactive spider avocado?
That is just not for me. I'm sorry. I mean, this to me is an avocado. You know what I mean?
He likes the delicate
I do.
avocados.
You know what I mean? By the way, I don't know if you knew this, because just when we talked about avocados, the first thing I did was look it up. And avocado comes from an Aztec word that means testicles. So, hey, Latoya, how you feel about him now?
Toya's all over it. I'm glad that's not normal. So, one family actually grew a super avocado that weighed in at 5.6 pounds, breaking a Guinness World Record. I asked them to share what they thought of the taste, so take a look.
Aloha, Dr. Oz. We're the Pokini family from Maui, Hawaii. We're currently under our avocado tree, which is over 10 years old. From farming to harvest, it takes 10 months to grow an avocado like the one that earned us a world record. We cut our record avocado open and made a whole bunch of guacamole and shared with family and friends. Our avocado was a little moist, but just as buttery as the Haas avocado. And by the way, it was organic.
Mahalo, they're looking happy. So let's walk through what to look for when buying avocados at the supermarket. So, Kellyanne, I've seen the bumpy ones, the ones that Chuck's manhandling over here. Then there are the smooth ones. So what's the difference?
So there's a ton of avocados. These are the most common. And the differences are this. The bumpy avocados are from California. The smooth ones are from Florida. But the real difference is in the fat. So there's actually more fat, more of the good fat in the bumpy, and there's less in the smooth, and so that means there's going to be a caloric difference. So there's about 37, little under 37 in the bumpy
Grams of fat.
grams of fat, and about 24 grams of fat in the smooth, about 400 calories in the bumpy, and about 288 in the smooth.
Florida wins.
Florida, I guess Florida. Wow.
That way I love Florida. I love the idea we got choices, but in fairness, the fat's the right kind of food.
It's the right kind of food. Now, here's the thing. When you're trying to figure out what kind of avocado, you want the California because that's going to have a lot of girth to it. That is where you want to make your avocado, your guacamole. You want to make your guacamole, your toast, all of that, because it's going to be smooth and creamy. This one, on the other hand, it's got a lot of build to it. So if you want something with a little bit more crunch, like in a salad, this is the way to go.
Okay.
You need both.
You need both.
You need both.
You need both. Florida and California.
That's right.
All right, now, Chuck, you have an inordinate fear of overly ripe avocados. I know this from personal experience with you. What is the deal here? How do you know?
I don't know how to tell an overly ripe avocado, except when you cut it open, it looks like it has the Black Death.
That's what I tell people all the time. Really, the best way to buy avocados is buy them the day that you want to use them, and you just have to know what to look for. So when you're looking at an avocado, how you test that out, Chuck, is that you want to just give it a very light feel.
Light feel.
Now, you don't want to squeeze it. You
Don't
just want a
squeeze.
light
Not a
feel.
squeeze, just a touch.
Just a touch, and you can
like
feel...
the top of a baby's head.
Like the top of it is a little tiny bit of give.
Hello, baby.
Hello, baby. You want to look for color. You want it to be green, but not too green. So if it's really a light green color, that means it might not be 100% ready, and you can keep that in your house for a day before it's ready to go.
Okay.
The greener it is, the more ready to go it is, but there is a test that we can take.
Oh.
What is the test?
This is
I
a
love
stem
tests.
test. This is
I
a
love
stem
tests.
test. Let's look for the one with the
There's
stem.
one with the stem right there.
Okay. So what you want to do is you want to pull that stem out.
Okay.
If it easily comes out, it's ripe. And if
Okay.
it's green when
It's
you
green
look inside,
inside.
Oh, look at
right,
that.
baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
Look at that.
That's the ultimate test right
So
there.
this bad boy is ready to eat?
Ready to go.
Chuck,
Okay.
this
And
is
I
a-
know what he's going to do.
This is a little gift from me to you. Something for the effort.
Thanks so much.
Oh,
I
God.
knew.
It is ripe.
I found the perfect wife for
Oh,
you right
God.
there.
All right, before anything else.
Look at that. She was right. This thing is delicious, too. Look at that.
All right, on that note, we're going to put a guide on how to find the perfect avocado on the screen right now. Snap a photo of it, share it with your friends. Listen, avocados, you guys love it. Number one thing you search for on social media, my social media anyway. So thanks to Kellyanne and Chuck, you had a good time with it. We're going to put an avocado supermarket guide online so you learn, don't make any more mistakes like Chuck tends to make. We'll be right back. And up next, we're kicking off our new series. If you've been thinking of trying CBD or using it right now, we're investigating the 99 CBD questions that you're too afraid to ask. Can CBD help my chronic pain? CBD make me skinny? Can CBD help my arthritis, my indigestion, cancer, my skin problems, autism, epilepsy, help boost my energy? Can CBD help me finally get a good night's sleep? We're back with a new series that you've been asking for, CBD. It's everywhere, right? It's in oils and supplements and drinks and even foods. And wherever I go, people are always asking me questions about it. So all season long, we're gonna be investigating CBD questions that you're too afraid to ask. And we've been talking about what really works and what doesn't work. So what about all the health claims? That's what I'm most focused on. So who's been wondering about CBD and health issues? Hands up. Good. Go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I was just wondering how it actually works.
How CBD works, okay?
I wanted to know if it works with anxiety.
Anxiety is a big reason people use it. More questions? Hands up. Go ahead.
How do I know what to buy?
How do I know what to buy? Any other big questions? Pretty good start, right? Let's start with those ones. So today, 99 CBD questions you're too afraid to ask. So here's the thing. I put a poll up on DrOz.com. The #1 health claim you wanted to know about is whether CBD will help you sleep. So sleep expert Dr. Tanuja Hamilton is here to weigh in on this all-important question. It is the most prominent question I personally get asked because I travel all over the country. Everyone's talking about CBD. A lot of people don't really understand what it is. I had a question here asking that, right? What actually is CBD?
Yeah, well, CBD stands for cannabidiol, and it's derived from hemp. A lot of people think that hemp and marijuana are the same thing, but they're not. Hemp has a very little or no amount of THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. That's the psychoactive part. That's what gets you high. Proponents say that CBD gives you the benefits of medical marijuana without the intoxicating effects. It's become so common, and you'll see it sold openly in stores and online.
All right, so it can come in many different forms. There's oils, right? There's some balms, the chocolates that have it, all kinds of foods, these gummies, right? So we investigated CBD last year in 2 different shows. We tested our own products that we had purchased, and then Consumer Labs did their own work. And we found that many of these products did not have the amount of CBD they claimed. In fact, some didn't have any at all. That's a problem, right? So what's the latest on how these products are being regulated?
Well, CBD, it's regulated from state to state. There are a lot of moving parts, and the FDA is working hard to evaluate the safety of CBD.
All right, so one of the biggest categories that I started my quest off on was sleep, because I want people sleeping more, but does it really work? So I wanted to know what you guys thought, what your experience was with CBD. So I asked 4 of my Oz viewers to come here today. They have been taking CBD for a month to help with their sleep. Thank you all for being part of the experiment. I would love if you don't mind to just quickly explain what kinds of sleep problems you're having, because they're all different amongst us.
I kept waking up in the middle of the night, so I wasn't really getting a restful sleep.
Okay, so anxiety, would that be a good way of describing it?
Yeah,
okay.
Anxiety and body pain.
Anxiety, body pain. What was your problem with sleeping?
Suffering from insomnia, I think, stress-related.
Stress-related insomnia.
I can't fall asleep. I toss and turn. I'm a working mom. I'm exhausted all day the next day.
Never initiate sleep. And what's your problem?
I would fall asleep easily, but I would wake up during the night and not be able to fall back asleep. And I had an interrupted sleep most nights.
Perfect. You covered all the different problems you could have with sleep, because they're not all the same. All right, so let's just see what you thought of CBD. All right, you'll have a little voting pad. You only get to vote once. So did it work for you or not? Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. Let's see how'd you thought. Okay, we got thumbs up. Ooh, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs up. So 3 out of 4 of you felt sort of happy about it. So Michelle, you had anxiety and pain.
Yep.
So how did the CBD affect that?
It kind of, since it's non-psychoactive, it kind of doesn't alter your feelings, which I like. And it kind of just has an overall just body relaxation for me, where I kind of just fall asleep easier.
Is that what both of you felt sort of as well?
Yeah, exactly. It just settled my thoughts and made me relaxed, and it kept me asleep.
Now, Suella, I got a thumb down there with a skeptical look. So what was the problem?
Well, for me, honestly, I couldn't go to sleep. It did relax me. I was relaxed, but I still couldn't go to sleep. So I was still resulting on trying different products to help me go to sleep.
Okay. What the ladies are saying and they're expressing is the mixed results that we seem to see in the research. So let's go talk about this. Because I want you to understand where the raw data is here. Because if you understand the research, you can make your own adult decision. So what does the research say?
Well, like these ladies, research is mixed.
All right, so we know about the side effects.
Yeah, you want to be careful about side effects. You need to look for fatigue, diarrhea, problems with appetite and weight.
So I don't think we're going to get a bit of advice out of the government yet, right? So we're going to have to do the best we can to advise all of you at home on what you should do if you want to try it for sleep. Tell us who we should trust, because this stuff's not cheap.
And that's very difficult because you're right. Who do you know who to trust? And if the claim is too good to be true, you want to be careful. You may want to look at consumer labs. You also may want to look at the product's website. You look for the certificate of analysis, and that gives you a breakdown of what's in the product and the potency. It'll tell you whether it contains things like pesticides, harmful contaminants, or heavy metals. So if it doesn't have that, you may want to think twice about getting that product.
And what about the dose? That's something that I've noticed is often fudged.
Ooh, and that's a good question. Some of these bottles don't even have the doses listed. So that's something you really have to look out for.
There's no dose listed. Don't buy the bottle. Why would you? You don't know what's in there. And what would 25 milligrams of CBD cost?
Well, a 30 count bottle would be about $38.
Right. So, you know,
per pill, $1.20.
A little over $1 a pill. If it's 19 cents, it's probably not enough CBD. Something's not right. All right. So for the latest research on CBD, which we'll keep up on, and sleep in particular, go to my website. We'll be right back.
A food investigation, new pork rules, and new ways to eat it. And Carrie Ann Inaba breaks her silence on her multiple health battles.
I am also not alone.
That's coming up on Wednesday.
Today, an exclusive interview with former U.S. Representative Patrick Kennedy, who's speaking out about the mental illness crisis happening right now in our country. He's sitting down with us just months after the tragic loss of another Kennedy, Saoirse Kennedy Hill. Patrick's been very open about his bipolar and addiction issues, been a real leader at a national level. Why do you argue that now more than ever we need to focus in on some of these mental health issues, the crisis that our nation is facing?
Well, it's a crisis of silence. The silence begins in our own families. We never like to talk about these issues. In fact, we're brought up not to talk about them. Our medical system reinforces that by never asking us about our mental health, thereby reinforcing the shame and stigma that what we have is something that is a personal failing, not a medical failing. And finally, what that translates into is a lack of activism. Unlike, you know, women's health and breast cancer and the pink ribbons, we have nothing to speak of, really. We have no activism because people don't want to self-identify as a survivor, as someone who struggles with these illnesses because they're so stigmatized. And what that ends up happening is that then government doesn't appropriate the right resources or respond in the right way, which only furthers the crisis because more people are dying of illnesses that could be prevented if we dedicated ourselves to addressing this in the same way we would HIV/AIDS, which was also stigmatized, in the way we've done with cancer, which at a time was also stigmatized, and yet we've never found our moment in this effort to really change the discussion.
The building block for society is the family. How have you personally, as prominent a family as you're in, gone about trying to get mental health issues, addiction problems to be addressed? How do you actually start the process?
Well, it's when you're part of a dysfunctional family that has addiction in it, your whole family's affected. And my mother suffered from terrible alcoholism. My father had numerous challenges with his drinking and suffered from post-traumatic stress after seeing his brothers violently murdered. And you know, it affects the whole family. And you can't just expect a treatment system to treat just the one person and then send them back into the toxic zone of a family that is illiterate in how to help that person in their recovery. And frankly, family members need to be in recovery. Because what ends up happening is there's a lot of codependency and this dysfunction feeds upon itself. And as I said before, it all festers in the silence.
Yes.
And the silence is what is so deadly. When you had the HIV/AIDS crisis, there was a sign, silence equals death. And I want to borrow that HIV/AIDS crisis sign, silence equals death, because it applies to suicide, it applies to addiction. Silence equals death.
So Patrick says a true hero in his family in championing mental health awareness was his young cousin, Saoirse. Now, she passed away unexpectedly this summer at the young age of 22. But she wasn't silent.
No.
When she was in high school, she wrote a letter to her school newspaper that was very open and honest about her own struggles with depression and a suicide attempt. And here are some of her brave words. I'm going to read them for everybody. Sure. Right? And I think this might bring us alive to a lot of us. When you were little, did you ever have friends your mom made you hang out with even though you didn't want to? We've all been there. Then those friends kept showing up, and you were confused, and you got sick of them. Soon enough, those friends were around so much that you got used to them, and finally, those friends were always with you and never left. And you almost began to enjoy having them around. Until last year, this was my relationship with my mental illness. She went on to say we have to come together to make our communities more inclusive, to make it more comfortable for us to get past the silence that you so beautifully articulated. You have urged everyone to read Saoirse's letter. A letter that was really a testimony to what she stood for, even though we lost her at a young age. Why is that letter important?
Well, she was speaking to her friends in high school. And we're seeing a giant leap in the number of suicide attempts and rates of depression and anxiety amongst kids and amongst college-age young people. And so this is not a crisis that's going to go away simply after Purdue Pharma stops selling OxyContin. We have an underlying disease of addiction, and we have an underlying mental health crisis in this country that we need to address. And it's not as simple as, cutting off the supply of pharma. It has to be more comprehensive than that. And Saoirse was talking about the struggles that she faced. And Saoirse was wonderful because she really did what this illness needs the most and shine a spotlight on it. Yeah. And really disinfect this attitude that it's something wrong with her because she has these feelings and that she needs this type of help. Because frankly, in our lives, all of us are going to need this type of help. Whether we... whether we are dealing with a severe and persistent mental illness like schizophrenia or bipolar, or whether we're dealing with addiction, or whether we're dealing with depression or anxiety, all of these illnesses, like cancer, have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. But our country only responds to these illnesses when they're stage 4. We never intervene with stage 1 and intervene where it can make a difference. Because our medical system isn't designed that way. We don't pay for mental health the same way we do cancer or surgical care. And what's the result? The result is we have a public health crisis on our hands that we need to have a response to that is ill-equipped to do it because the money's not behind it in order to effectuate it.
Which is why we're talking about it today, to change all of our attitudes. About the power of one, though, each of us as individuals. Up next, an action plan for families to help tackle issues of mental illness and addiction. Right back. We are back with an exclusive interview with Patrick Kennedy, who's speaking out bravely about mental health issues after the unexpected death of his cousin Saoirse Kennedy Hill this past August. Now, he has an action plan for how families can start to heal from addiction and mental health issues. Allison from our audience says she's been struggling with this issue in her own family. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So what's going down? Not that you're alone, by the way.
Well, I just lost my niece 3 months ago.
Sorry about
the same time. And she was 25 years old. And struggled for years, in and out of rehabs, suffered with depression, and she lost her life to addiction.
My condolences.
Yes.
When you try to talk to your family about this, what happens?
I think a lot of denial. I think my sister really struggles with her own issues because my father suffered from bipolar depression. So we grew up in a family where it was very, a lot of secrets, a lot of confusion, and a lot of highs and lows. So what I decided to do really is turn my own grief and all my childhood issues into helping others.
Awesome.
So I opened my own rehabilitation center, and we help with mental illness and it empowers me.
But part of the challenge is to even understand the family dynamic. So let me bring in someone who works with Patrick, mental health advocate Dan Polino, who's really knowledgeable in this area. We go through an action plan that can help families talk about mental health or addiction issues. I think that's the big problem, Patrick. As individuals, sometimes folks are strong or they've been to the bottom and they know what it feels like. They come up like you. But for most of us, we just can't even start the discussion in our own family. So first you say start a conversation without shame and without blame. Why is that critical? What's a practical way to actually accomplish that?
Well, the first thing you have to do, Oz, is you have to come to grips with yourself. You have to have that conversation and say, I'm ready to go make a change. Within your family, you're really not hiding anything. People know there's an issue. They want you to have that conversation. They want you to come say, I need some help. And you need to find that trusted healer, that person in your family that will, in fact, listen to you and help you on the road to recovery.
But how do you tell someone who's sick who won't hear it? Let's say you don't, we're all messed up, but let's say we think someone else is even more messed up than we are. How do you broach that topic?
I think it's a very good question, and one that I think when you spend time looking at what they're doing and bringing that back to them, put the mirror up to their life, show them what's happening to themselves. Take it away from yourself. Don't do a blame, don't do a shame, but help them see what's happening.
All right, next we need a checkup from the neck up. Patrick, that's your phrase that I just stole and used.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means when you go to your physician's office and they take a family history of whether you've had stroke or cancer in the family, they ought to take a family history of whether you have alcoholism or addiction or mental illness in your family, because the chances are you're going to be at high risk yourself if any other family members also suffered from one of those illnesses.
Dan, you think this is vital?
Absolutely. This is a crisis. We had 70,000 people die in 2017 from this, and it's just continuing to grow. We need to get these people into a medical home. We need to get them into care, and we need to be that first step, just like what Patrick said earlier.
So a lot of families worry when it comes to the costs. Let's go through this pretty clearly, right? What are the things we need to do to make sure that the system works for us? And we have rights in this area, Patrick.
Well, we have rights to make sure our payers do not discriminate against these illnesses, whereby they pay less than what they would pay for some other illness, whether it's inpatient in-network, outpatient in-network, inpatient out-of-network, outpatient out-of-network, or pharmacy or ER benefits. And I say that not to be funny, but to illustrate there's federal law that's like civil rights that says if you have an illness of the brain, you should not be treated any differently than if you have an illness of any other part of your body.
So medications can't cost more. They have to reimburse and pay for the copays like they would for diabetes or another chronic illness. I mean, these things come up, and these patient rights we often forget about. And there's no limits on visits, guys. If you need the care, go get it. The crazy thing that I don't get is although these are federal rules, we don't enforce them. But you know what? You can enforce them. Power of one. Start with you. You know now. I just said it. If it treated you for diabetes, they'll treat you for this. Finally, you got to come up with an action plan with your doctor, and you have to commit to it. Dan, how do you actually do this?
Well, first thing I would do is ensure that you have a medical home. 7x24, you can reach a doctor, PA, family practitioner. Start with that primary care visit. Have that honest conversation with the doctor, and then follow that regimen with them. They're going to give you some great advice and commit to that care plan.
So we're going to put this action plan on droz.com. I want you to pick up a copy of Dan Polino's book. It's very well done. It'll open your eyes. It's called Trusted Healers. And everyone in the audience today is going to receive a copy. Thank you for being here, Patrick. I appreciate it. We'll be right back.
The Preppy Murder. The side you haven't heard of the story you thought you knew.
That's coming up tomorrow.
Buying a car, it's a major life purpose, right? You want to make sure you're getting a great product at a great price. And a car with as many bells and whistles included as possible, like maybe a sunroof, right? Or how about leather seats, right? Check. Now, shopping for a Medicare plan shouldn't be any different. You want a great price with all the benefits you need, like prescription coverage, vision coverage, including eyeglasses, dental coverage, hearing coverage, including free hearing aids, free gym memberships, even free meal delivery, right? All this stuff should be out there. And even better than car shopping, you could get benefits like these as part of a Medicare plan for a $0 monthly premium. $0. So today, I want to tell you about a Medicare plan that can help meet your needs. And here on the behalf of my trusted sponsorship partner, MedicareAdvantage.com, is Jaleesa Jackson. I love having you here. You tell the story so well. You all get it out. Jaleesa is an experienced licensed insurance agent who has helped thousands of people learn about their Medicare options. So let's start off with the basics. What is Medicare Advantage?
So a Medicare Advantage plan is an option for our Medicare beneficiaries looking to expand their coverage. These plans are offered by private insurance companies and provide the same coverage as Medicare Parts A and B. A lot of these plans include additional benefits that a lot of people need, such as coverage for their prescription drugs, dental, vision, hearing, and access to the wellness benefits. In addition, most of these plans include an over-the-counter allowance to help pay for everyday essentials such as your vitamins, your supplements, diabetic and blood pressure supplies. And Original Medicare doesn't cover any of those items. And you know, Dr. Oz, I found that those are game changers for a lot of people looking to expand their coverage.
When we go around the country doing free clinics, I'm amazed how many people actually want dental care. And I didn't realize until I started doing my own television show, because I'm a heart surgeon, didn't come up, that people didn't get that as part of Medicare. So I get it. These are major factors that hurt people's quality of life. There's a lot to get out of one plan. How many plans are there nationwide?
You know, it really is, and there's no other option on the market like this for our Medicare beneficiaries. Plus, there are over 2,700 plans available nationwide, and many of our Medicare beneficiaries have access to a $0 premium plan.
I heard you say that earlier. It's important.
Absolutely.
So what can Medicare Advantage mean for you? All right, let's take a real life scenario. Let's say you slipped and fell and found yourself in the emergency room. Right? It happens sometimes, right? So walk us through what your medical bill might look like in Original Medicare versus if you had a Medicare Advantage plan.
Absolutely. So with Original Medicare, there's no limit to what you could be responsible for out of pocket. So for an example, just one visit to the hospital could cost thousands of dollars.
And I don't know if you've ever been this, I've been in this situation. The bills come from places you never knew you had bills from, right? You can't keep up. What if you have Medicare Advantage?
So with Medicare Advantage, there is an annual limit of what you could be responsible for out of pocket.
Yeah, but you know that number, right? You're not going to get ambushed out of left field.
Absolutely.
Take a listen at how Medicare Advantage made a difference for this woman.
I'm Nancy from Greensboro, North Carolina. My husband and I have been involved with a Medicare Advantage plan for a number of years. We have very expensive medical needs. It was such a comfort to find a plan that covered those needs. It really is wonderful, and I hope that everyone will look into finding a Medicare Advantage plan for them.
So with all these insights, why don't more people have Medicare Advantage?
So actually, over 22 million people are currently enrolled into a Medicare Advantage plan. So a lot of people do, but that only makes up about 1/3 of Medicare beneficiaries. So there are still millions of people out here who could have additional benefits if they just simply look into it. There are new plans that roll out every year, and the 2020 plans just came out recently. So if you're currently enrolled into a Medicare Advantage plan or any type of Medicare coverage, you may be able to get additional benefits at an affordable price if you switch plans.
When I speak to all the experts, they always tell me they think there's going to be a lot more people enrolled because it makes so much sense for a lot of folks. But you got to do your homework.
Absolutely.
So lots of folks, navigating insurance, it's daunting, and Medicare included. So to help you make the right decision, I'm going to open it up to all of you, right? I want to get you guys to ask the questions you want because I got a world expert sitting right next to me. I know you had a question first. This is Tracy. Take it away.
Who's eligible for Medicare Advantage?
So anyone who has Medicare, generally speaking, if you're 65 years of age or older, are eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan. However, there are other ways that you can qualify for a Medicare Advantage plan.
Barbara, you got a question?
Yes. Can my husband and I be on the same plan, or do we need our own plans?
She's so caring. Would he ask that about you?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Sure. So you guys both can actually have the same plan. However, there's no family option. So you would have to enroll separately. But let me tell you this, the really cool thing about a Medicare Advantage plan is your needs may be different than your husband's. So you can have your own tailored plan and enroll, and he can have his own separate plan. Okay.
It's good news for both of you.
Yes.
And finally, we have a question from Ann.
You said that now's a good time to sign up. Are there other options of times we can sign up?
So there are actually other times where you can enroll, but now is actually the best time because it's Medicare's annual enrollment period. This is the only time where every Medicare beneficiary can enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan. If you enroll at a later date, there are certain circumstances that you may have to follow in order to get into a Medicare Advantage plan. Okay.
Oh, helpful?
Helpful.
So you've heard it from everybody. So what are you waiting for? If you're watching this right now, I want you to stop what you're doing and call the number on your screen to speak with a licensed insurance agent like Jaleesa. MedicareAdvantage.com has agents standing by to help you review your Medicare options. Now, share this information with your loved ones as well. It matters to all of us. We'll be right back. Not there. No! We go apple spitting every fall. Listen, I'm cutting down the days when we go apple picking with my family. It's my all-time favorite activity in the fall. Just in time for apple season, there's actually some breaking news about apples that will rock you to your core. Now, I didn't just pick that word by accident. A lot of you have been told that the most nutritious part of the apple is the skin. But a new study found the most nutritious part might actually be the part we throw away. It's the core. The average apple contains roughly 100 million bacteria, and most of the good kinds may be inside the fruit, not in the skin. It's a kind of friendly bacteria we all want and need for a healthy digestive system. In fact, my dad used to eat the core of the apple on purpose, always. Just the stem was left when he was finished. Some members of my audience have bravely volunteered to try the core out. What do you guys think?
Tickles my taste buds, Dr.
Tickles?
It's crunchy.
Is it a good workout for your teeth?
It is. It's definitely not sweet.
It's a little tart.
Kind of bitter.
What?
I would eat it.
They're being polite. Here's the thing. I know that it's not what you normally do, but from now on, I want you to think about eating the core. Another little apple fact that might come in handy, but some have more nutrients than others. These three varieties right here, right in front of me, the Fuji, Red Delicious, and Gala apples have the most antioxidants. When you bite into one of those, make sure you start with the core. So here's how we're gonna start eating our apples from now on. You know, everyone eats like this?
Mm-hmm.
From now on, follow my dad's advice. This part. It worked. Remember, the power of change lies in the power of you. Just one person with one voice speaking the truth. Goodbye, everybody.